I'm Edward Warfield. I'm the publisher of Citybiz. I'm honored today to interview Mark McCoy, the regional manager at Marcus and Millichap. Welcome, Mark.
Ed, pleasure and honor to be here with you today.
Can you provide an introduction to Marcus and Millichap in the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
Sure. First off, glad to be here with Citybiz. We appreciate everything that y'all do. When we look at Marcus Millichap, we're a domestic and international brokerage firm with over 80 offices located here in the U.S. and in Canada. At any given moment, we have approximately 2,000 agents that focus exclusively on investment sales. The firm was founded in 1971 by George Marcus and William Millichap with really the basic principles of information sharing, collaborations, best-in-class technology, and our ability to really cross-pollinate capital from one market into a new market. When we look at the Dallas-Fort Worth operation, we have a substantial presence with over 90 brokers here in Dallas-Fort Worth. We're spread out between three locations, those being in Dallas, Fort Worth, and most recently our Uptown office, more centrally located in downtown Dallas. In 2021, we had a banner year, doing over 630 transactions, and that represented $9.5 billion of sales transactions out of Dallas-Fort Worth alone. We focus on all the major food groups, that being multifamily, retail, net lease, self-storage, industrial office, land, mobile home parks. If you can sell it, and it's not just a single family end user, most likely we have our hand in it.
Now let's highlight some of the recent transactions in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Great. One of the most recent transactions that comes to mind is actually an apartment building that was recently sold in Frisco. It's called the Cadence. Our local IPA team, led by Will Balthrop, Drew Kyle, Joey Timonello, and Mike Ware and Taylor Hill, had the listing assignment that was newly built by the Hillwood Group, which is a Ross Perot company. This 2021 perfect asset in Frisco was sold during lease-up at 60%. We had a record amount of tours and a record amount of offers. That was a really well-executed multifamily deal in Frisco. And while thinking about it, another great assignment was actually a retail assignment. And this one was in Fort Worth. It was a historic strip center. If you live in Fort Worth, you certainly know about the Ridgely Village Strip Center. It's built in 1942, 112,000 square feet, 80 tenants. Really, this is a prototypical Marcus Millichap assignment where we were able to source a 1031 exchange buyer out of California, utilizing the platform and getting the job done.
So there's been a lot of attention to the multifamily area. Can you bring us some highlights of Q1 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, in the area of multifamily?
Sure. When you look at Q1, as opposed to as we're heading into Q2, Q1 was performed extremely well in the first quarter. We sold $2.8 billion of inventory, and that represented 16,000 units in the first quarter alone. The market dynamics are still extremely strong, especially when you look at vacancy rates, rent growth, and urbanization trends of people moving from outside into the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. I believe if you were to look at 2021, we had over 100,000 transplants that came into the metroplex that really helped the multifamily space. That said, we're seeing some headwinds and expenses start to creep up, especially when you look at our property tax situation, our insurance costs. But man, we are really fortunate to be in a primary market, centrally located in the U.S. in a well-diversified business environment.
And so where do you see the market opportunities? Logistics, multifamily? I mean, where are the biggest opportunities out there?
Edwin, I think you still have to look towards multifamily and industrial product. For the last number of years, it certainly has been the gold standard in Dallas-Fort Worth. But when you look at what's occurring right now with the inflationary pressures across the country, there are certain product types that are doing extremely well. Those being hospitality, self-storage, some retail product, multifamily, just based on the lease structure, as we're seeing the inflationary environment really take off. But you got to go back to multifamily industrial, still probably the gold standard in DFW.
So let's talk a little bit about your career. In 2015, you started at Marcus and Millichap as an advisor, and then by 2019, you became promoted to regional manager. Can you share some highlights of your career at Marcus and Millichap?
Sure. Joining Marcus Millichap was one of the best opportunities that I can really just be thankful for. In 2015, I started as an apartment broker here in Dallas-Fort Worth, joined one of the more prolific teams in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, whether it was in Marcus or outside of Marcus, just the overall brokerage community. Previous background was in real estate, but Marcus Millichap really gave me the selling foundation and really the brokerage understanding of how to go do a transaction. Was very fortunate to win Rookie of the Year out of the Fort Worth office in 2016. Had a great start into the business. Approximately in around 2017, 2018, I got approached to become a sales manager. And after about a year of doing so, I was promoted to regional manager. Today, I assist my partner, Tim Speck, here in Dallas to oversee the entire Dallas-Fort Worth operation.
And so what are the growth plans at Marcus and Millichap?
I think we've got probably a three-legged stool there. We're always looking at talent, whether it's existing talent that's already in the space. You look at, we're really pushing our debt and equity platforms. In the last 2 to 3 years, we've been acquiring various brokerage shops. More recently, we acquired LMI Capital out of Houston, a really well-known debt and equity shop in Houston. And 2020, we acquired Metropolitan Capital, great acquisition with Sonny Sajnani and Todd McNeil. Mission Capital is another example. And those are really the debt and equity placements. But when you think about the overall brokerage practices, we're certainly looking at acquiring talent in boutique brokerage shops. But one of the more surprising things I'm really proud to actually acknowledge is that we recently rolled out the William A. Millichap Foundation scholarship, which is essentially a program designed to take either people that have been in sales or coming out of school that want to get in brokerage. And it really allows a soft landing into the brokerage community by giving them some runway and growing talent here locally on the ground.
So is there any part of the Marcus and Millichap or Mark McCoy story that you'd like to share that you haven't shared with us today?
I would just personally share that Marcus Millichap has treated me very well. When I look at my progress within the firm, whether I've been an agent, as a sales manager, and now regional manager, everyone has a different path into Marcus. We certainly are known for brokerage, but we've got great talented people in our research departments, our capital markets departments, our analysts, our escrow agent officers. They do a phenomenal job. So regardless of what you want to do in the industry space, the firm has provided a lot of opportunity for myself and others in the firm.
Well, Mark, I want to thank you for sharing your story and your insights, and we wish you the best of luck going forward. Thanks.
Edwin, it was a pleasure, and thank you to Citybiz.